Quranic Miracle, The Journey into Space. By Ahmad. Gumi. Space exploration in Islamic literature as tied to the prophecies of the end of time in some narrations. Experts say that an average car has an expectancy of 150,000 miles, 241,401.6 kilometers. A man, though depending on other factors, has an expectancy of 78 years. A common housefly has 28 days. These are expectations. The car can crash before those miles. Man can fall sick or die in an accident anytime. The fly can wrongly or rightly find itself swatted in a restaurant or electrocuted in an electric fly swat. So as life on Earth, it has a lifespan expectancy. The sun is going to burn out in about 5 million years to come, from experts' calculations. Without the sun, life on Earth will freeze to non-existence. So, nothing is permanent. Yet, Islamic prophecies pointed to the fact that an accident will occur along the long journey and life on Earth will abruptly come to an end before its presumed natural extinction. When will that happen? No man knows. Allah said, Quran chapter 33 verse 63, Men ask thee concerning the hour, say, the knowledge thereof is with Allah alone, and what will make thee understand? Perchance the hour is nigh. Nevertheless, there are many narrated prophecies about the signs of the hour. Some authentic, others unreliable, while many in fine print are mumbo-jumbo from narrators' errors. Notably among authentic prophecies in Quranic verses, is the exploration of space by man or his contrivance. Into space, Allah the Almighty said, O ye assembly of jinns and men! If it be ye can pass beyond the zones of the heavens and earth, pass ye. Not without authority shall be able to pass. Quran 55:33 Allah the Exalted swore. And he can swear with anything monumental he wishes. By the sun, by the moon, by the day, by the night, by the dawn, by the Quran, by Mecca, by the day of judgment, and by things yet understood. Among the things Allah swore with, which were oblivious even to his companions, were the opening verses of chapter 51 Wazariyat. Allah swore with a phenomenon that was not clearly understood until recently when it had already happened. The chapter is about things Allah swore with that proves the hour is true, nigh and very close. Even if the hour takes 1,000 years to occur, it's like a blink of an eye. Let us contemplate the verses and what was narrated from the Quranic exegetists before their actualization. Bukhari died 256 Hijra narrated in his Sahih without a chain of narrators on the exegesis of chapter 51 of the Quran named Azariyat. He said, Ali died 30 Hijra peace be upon him said, it means the wind. Haytham bin Qasi died 335 Hijra narrated in his book Masnad lil Shathi Volume 2 page 96, Ali bin Abi Talib said, to some people, ask me any questions, for indeed you'll not get someone like me afterward to ask. He Abu at Tufail, the narrator from Ali, said, the son of Al-Qawa stood up and asked, what is Wazariyat? He Ali said, the winds. He then said, what is then Fajariyat Yusran? He said, ships. He then said, what is Falamilat Wigran? He said, the clouds. He said, what is then Falmu Kasimati Amran? He said, angels. This is so far as the known narration on the exegesis of the verses. Ibn Kasir died 774 Hijra in his book of Quranic exegesis said, it was also said, the meaning of Wazariyat is the wind like it was aforementioned and Falhamilat Wigran meaning clouds, because it carries water. But for Fajariyat Yusran, the famous exegesis from the majority of scholars, like aforesaid, is that, it is the ships running easily on water. But some of them say, it's the stars running easily in their orbits, so that the whole thing will be ascendance from the nearest to the highest to something higher than it also. So that the whole thing will be ascendance from the nearest to the highest then to something even higher than it. So, over the winds, are the clouds, and the stars over the clouds, and Walmakasamati Amran, which means the angels are over everything, bringing down the commands of Allah of both religion and worldly creation. These vows from Allah His Majesty and the Exalted are over the occurrence of His promises, i.e. the hour and day of judgment. The observation by Ibn Kasir, of objects sworn with from the lowest up to the highest, has added a great value to the conversation. Now let us look closely and observe other monumental things the former scholars couldn't have seen or comprehend because they occurred later in contemporary times. There are 4 linguistic issues of great concern here in these verses. 1. The Arabic letter of conjunction (FAA) in the beginning of the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th verses means, and then. The letter is not only for conjunctions of sentences or words, but also it indicates sequence and successiveness. One thing happening immediately after the other in sequence and succession wazariyat are objects in plural sworn by Allah. Linguistically they are nouns in the active participle form. 2. The words zarwan and yusran in the 1st and 3rd verses are adverbials in the accusative case. The adverbial clauses here express the condition of the active particle, the real moment and object of attention and swear. 3. The words wigran and amran in the 2nd and 4th verses are objective nouns in the accusative case. When we add the connections as understood from the sequencing, which in Qatar also hinted, that is from lower to higher, then to highest objects, today we can see the stages of rocket launch vividly. Starting from 1, the blast of takeoff, 2. Then the lift-off heavy weight, 3. Then the smooth speeding of satellites in space, 4. Then the functionality of their missions, the machines and vehicles that Allah has guided man to use in exploring space. This meticulous fine observation tallies well with the very first steps of space exploration by man. From the rocket blast to heavy uplift of equipment, fuel, and astronauts, if they are manned, to their crews at tremendous speed with ease in space, then the satellite communication commands to and from Earth and outer space. Allah the Almighty the Omnipotent swears in the Quran chapter 51 verse 1, by the gust blower when it scatters in outburst. Allah swearing by the gust blower during the outburst. Wazariyati Zarwan. After the count 3, 2, 1, 0, by the gust blower during the outburst. Wazariyati Zarwan the swear is by the machine during the blast off, a great moment of apprehension, danger and pride for mankind, by the gust blower during the outburst. Zarwan means at the time of the blast and scattering of smoke. In Quran 14:45, but soon it becomes dry chaff, which the winds do scatter, from the same root word, zaa and raa and aleph. Tazruhoriyah. At-Tabari died 310 Hijra in his book of Quranic exegesis said, Tazruhoriyah means winds will blow it away and scatter it. If a rocket is launched from the surface of the Earth, to escape falling to the back to ground due to gravity, it needs to reach a speed of at least 7.9 km per second, 4.9 miles per second to reach space. This speed of 7.9 km per second is known as orbital velocity. It corresponds to more than 20 times the speed of sound. The 3 space shuttle's main engines generate the maximum equivalent of about 37 million horsepower. Verse 2, then by the carriers that lift and bear away heavy weights. The Saturn V rocket is taller than the Statue of Liberty and fully fueled, weighed 2.8 million kilograms, 60.2 million pounds, equivalent to about 400 elephants. NASA's mighty Saturn V is 363 feet 110 meters high and remains the most powerful rocket to launch payloads of up to 45 tons to the Moon, or 120 tons into Earth orbit. Additional weight of about 480 kilograms men and women for Shuttle Columbia. Verse 3, then by the runners that speed with ease. To stay in orbit, a satellite has to travel at a very high velocity, which depends on the height. So, typically, for a circular orbit at a height of 300 km above the Earth's surface, a speed of 7.8 km per second, 28,000 km per hour is needed. A speed of 7.8 km per second, 28,000 km per hour. 28,000 km per hour. At this speed, the satellite will complete one orbit around the Earth in 90 minutes. Verse 4, then by the distributors of command International Space Station. Presently, there are over 2,218 artificial communication satellites orbiting the Earth. Communications satellites are commonly used for mobile phone signals, weather tracking, or broadcasting television programs. Communications satellites are artificial satellites that receive signals from Earth station and then retransmit the signal to other Earth stations. These verses described contrivances at different stages of deployment from Earth to space and their functions in distributing commands and signals. These facts are more obvious and more pronounced than the earlier exegesis on the matter. Allah knows best. The fact that man has accomplished this great task, then, no doubt the promise of Allah is imminent and true. Verse 5, verily that which ye are promised is true. Verse 6, and verily judgment and justice must indeed come to pass. The end is nigh. No doubt about it. The dead will be resurrected for accountability. Verse 7, by the sky with its numerous paths satellites operate in three different orbits. Low Earth orbit (LEO) satellites are positioned at an altitude between 160 km and 1,600 km 100 and 1,000 miles above Earth. Verse 8, truly ye are in a speech discordant. Verse 9, through which are deluded away from the truth such as would be deluded. Verse 10, woe to the falsehood mongers. Verse 11, those who flounder heedless in a flood of confusion. Verse 12, they ask, when will be the day of judgment? Allah knows best. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen.